Foxes. He's a lefty and a senior from Glen Olden, Pennsylvania. And according to Dennis Healy, the first couple of innings for him are going to be key.
Yeah, I think especially against a lineup like this Florida State team. I mean, to build that confidence helps that he's a senior, so shouldn't be wowed by the situation. Stuff is decent. A fastball that'll get up to 88 miles an hour. Pretty good changeup. You're going to see his changeup probably more than his breaking ball. Like Dennis Healy said, you'll know pretty early whether or not Rickards is going to be good, and most of that is going to be as he throwing strike one. If he's getting ahead, then he's got a chance, because you've got to try to get these Florida State hitters in a defensive mindset.
One of the best leadoff men in the nation when it comes to getting on base. Tyler Holt always seems to find a way. He's the first hitter for the Noles. Takes high outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Tyler Holt, a sophomore out of Gainesville, Florida. Right there in Gator territory, snubs them and comes to Florida State. He has reached safely in 119 of 126 career games. Leads the team in average, hits, and walks. You talk about table setters, this guy is it. But he's down in the count 1-2.
He can really run too. I mean, kind of a tradition here at Florida State. Mike Martin will run if he has the speed, and Holt is a guy that can do that. 32 stolen bases on the year.
Good start for Josh Rickards. Here's the defense behind him. Brian McDonough is the left fielder. John Schwind in center. Kyle Meyer, one of the captains for Marist. He's out in right. Ricky Passione, Richard Carrillo, John Prano, and Ryan Gauk around the infield from third to first. We've already talked a lot about Bryce Nugent tonight. Has done an excellent job as the backstop for Marist.
Pretty good start from Nugent there too. Against Holt, get ahead of him a little bit, throw a couple change-ups, and
Stephen Cardullo to the right field side. Wow, Meyer went airborne to make that play, but he got it. 2 down.
Got a little excited, I think, taking that route. Meyer wanted to make sure he got there in plenty of time. And a new ballpark, you still don't know how much room you have down the lines, and so you want to make sure that you get there in plenty of time. Good route, but now he just about overruns it. Quick start, though, for Rickards. 2 quick outs here.
Cardullo is down, 2 outs for Florida State, and here's Mike McGee. Mike McGee, all ACC second team this year. He wants to bunt for a hit, sends it in the air, foul. McGee is a two-way player who is also the team's #3 starter, as you mentioned earlier. And I guess if you had to judge him right now, he's a sophomore, still has a couple of years ahead of him collegiately. But what is he better at? I mean, where does his future lie? Is it as a pitcher at the next level, or is it an everyday play?
Now, I think it's probably an everyday player. I mean, the numbers that he's put up offensively, and power numbers as well. The kid's a really good athlete. I mean, he can run, he can do some things, he can projects as a guy that can play outfield at the next level as well. I mean, it never hurts, and it just gives you one more thing when you get into pro ball. So if you do struggle in one way, you can potentially go out and try the other side. But for me, I think McGee's a guy that's a position player before the mound.
That skips in the dirt off for Rickards, and it's 1-2. One thing they say about McGee, and we really haven't had a chance to see it yet, is he's got an unorthodox swing. Lays off there. It's 2-2. I guess it doesn't matter as long as you're getting it done, and the numbers say that McGee is.
Like, guys start different. I mean, hands high, hands low, where the bat lays. You can see the bat kind of lay back now, lay it flat right before it goes.
And now it's a full count as McGee is working hard here against Rickards. 3-2.
To me, the key is, where do your hands get right before the ball comes out of the hitter's hand? Because that's where your load position is going to be. It's where your hands start the swing. And a lot of guys will get there differently, but most get to the same spot.
Laid off. They will appeal to the first base umpire, but Doug Williams says no, he didn't. And it's a 2-out walk for Mike McGee. First base runner for the Seminoles tonight. And now Jason Stidham grabs a bat. Stidham, the cleanup hitter, and second baseman for the Noles. He is the first lefty hitter in this Florida State lineup. We talked about Tyler Holt being a model of consistency in that leadoff spot. You can say the same thing here for Jason Stidham. Not only this year, but throughout his career. He is a career .360 hitter. And for Mike Martin's teams over the last few years, he has always hit either 1, 2, 3, or 4. Always in the top part of the order. Now Rickards almost had McGee leaning there at first base.
Stidham, a guy that played a big role in their College World Series team last year. And a lot of these guys back. A lot of big names that aren't. Dennis Quinn and obviously Buster Posey, who played a huge part on that team. Jack Rye, but Stidham was a big part of that club.
2-0 he's had in the count. Stidham was moved from shortstop to second base in mid-March, the same time that Stephen Cardullo was moved from shortstop to first base. And it seemed like after that situation was taken care of, that middle infield spot was solidified. Things really started clicking for Florida State.
And we talked to Mike Martin yesterday, and it was a time of uncertainty, one that doesn't happen very often here at Florida State. And really, since that move, this has been a very different club.
2 balls and a strike. Mike Martin said at one point when the team was 9-7 early on in the year and taking some lumps, he was scared to death. And I was a little bit surprised to hear that from a guy who certainly had been around the block a few times.
He started looking at the rest of the season and the way the schedule looked and some of the teams they were going to play. But boy, you don't win that many games by accident.
Lifted to right. Meyer has a long run, but he's going to get there. And Florida State is done here in the first. So Josh Rickards gets it done in the first inning. We have played one, no score.